I grew up learning his styles and stuff, watching him on videos, and I used to skip all his other parts just to get to Kelly's part because he's differently from the other guys. You could see that he's committed to what he do. There's nothing that could stop him to do that. That's what I loved him for. And by him winning so many titles, it showed that there's nothing that's impossible. You gotta be impossible.
Africa's raw. Africa's a raw country. It's elemental. You paddle out towards that molten sun that every morning boils up through the ocean. It's like you're paddling out towards this destiny. The first time I actually saw Kelly surf here at J-Bay, other than on video, and he had an amazing final that year against Andy Irons. Now, he's just won one of the best finals of his life. Day before. The next day, started pumping, 6 to 8 and solid. Everyone had bailed out except Kelly Slater. So it was me and Kelly in the lineup. And I think that Kelly Slater's enduring career and the reason that he has had the longest career in history and the best career in history is, I'll tell you straight, it's because he's more stoked.
First time I came to J-Bay was in 93 or 94. It was literally like out of a movie. It was so crazy. I rode my bike up to Boneyards and I saw a whale out the back and I saw dolphins riding waves. And then I saw flamingos fly over my head and then I saw a shark jump out their back. And I was like, this is crazy. It's just like, you feel like you're in Africa, you know? This town has grown a lot since then. It's all built around surfing and it's sort of like this really packed town in the middle of like a whole bunch of empty coasts. The wave at Super Tubes, it's just got this great combination of speed and curve, and then now and then you get this great double up if there's enough sand and the tide's low and everything comes together and you get this incredible wave where you just stand in the barrel for a long time. No matter how many people are around, it still feels untouched in the water. And you see these lines coming, you know this came from thousands of miles away and now they're perfectly groomed and they've stretched in just perfectly along the point.
Sometimes people overlook the revolution that he created in freesurf, his influence on board design, initially with those super curvy, longer, narrower boards, and then transitioning into super short boards. Every surfer on the tour today, I've spoken to most of them while I've been down here, rides a board between 5'11" and 6'3". It's like 5 inches shorter than 10 years ago. Absolutely credited to Kelly pushing the boundaries of how short you can ride in incredibly challenging conditions. Kelly Slater's not jaded. Kelly Slater's not cynical. Kelly Slater's not the guy to rest on his laurels, and it's harder from now. Man, he's older, he's accomplished it all. He's won everything, like 55 events. He's had a competitive career. His records will never be broken.
I really haven't got myself in any kind of a world title picture this year so far. I skipped one event because I was dealing with some back stuff. And that makes it even harder after having, you know, 1 okay result and 2 bad results. And then Fiji, I didn't do great. So, you know, to me, it's just trying to put a couple wins on the board before the end of the year.
So, Kelly, how's your spine been feeling?
You know, during this
trip, it's been sort of okay.
Yeah.
It's hurt me a little bit before I can even like turn. My back's in pain, you know.
This one is much tighter than this right side, and it's also compensating a little bit for the scoliosis there, the curvature in the spine.
Yeah. I noticed when I was in my early 20s, my old roommate in Australia used to talk about, oh, your back looks kind of funny or whatever. But to me, it was like I had a lot of mobility and I was functional, so I didn't take too much of an issue, and I wasn't in pain. It's gotten to a point where in the past 15 years, I've done x-rays a few times because something was obviously wrong.
To me, it's remarkable the way he's surfing because of the curvatures in his spine that he's got.
You can see it when I bottom turn. My lower back's really rounded out. My upper back is curved in. So, like, biomechanically, I'm making it work, but I'm not in the best positions when I surf. I mean, if I were to just take 6 months to a year and just, like, completely improve all that, I would greatly increase the range of motion. I was coming to J Bay with the idea that I just want to try to put a win on the map. As a long shot, if I could get a really sort of hot streak going and get some quarters and semifinals, you know, I can kind of get my name back in the world title conversation probably at the end of the year. I had a heat with Julian and Kanoa, and those guys paddled out way around the back of the point. I went in the keyhole, saw set coming as I was jumping off the rocks, and the heat was ending. You know, I was looking at my watch going, okay, the heat's got 90 seconds. It probably takes me like 40 seconds to get over there. Right when I got out and the heat started, the first wave that came to me, those guys were already past it outside.
Slater, look at this crease come up underneath this wave. Slows up, but you know what that means? Double up. And sure enough, Slater read it. And look at this. Finds the barrel. And then finds it again. And he is so deep. There's no way. Is he going to make it? Yes, he does. The crowd goes bananas. And Slater, the showman, once again.
Looking for a backup now at 9.1 on his first wave. Pulling into the barrel once again. Just having a field day in the opening. Love that frontside turn too, just blasting the tail through the lip after he exited the tube. So this will be a pretty reasonable backup number, you'd think. Julian Wilson's been pretty quiet in this heat so far. Just a throwaway score of 0.5.
You know, utilizing the priority, taking it over, and beautiful hooking snap. I mean, that is trademark Slater. You know, right there, you can see him bite into that turn, but doesn't have a ton of speed through the lip, but there it is, the release. Get a bit of variety. One more time. He stumbled a little bit, but kept it going. And then there, aerials are tough when you've got the wind blowing this hard here.
And he is moving through to round 3. And that's going to feel good.
This wave offers so much. It's so awesome to watch. What is your favorite part of surfing there?
I think, you know, just the pure speed, just that line you get when you stand up on a wave at J Bay. You know, if you have a board that feels really good, my board feels great. It's actually an epoxy. It's a sort of stringerless. It's kind of got this denser foam stringer that we've been working on. I'm actually super excited about getting back on it. Just having a fun free surf all morning, sort of testing out a couple of boards and just starting to kind of loosen up. I pulled in this closeout barrel and it broke way ahead of me. I was really looking intently at it, like when do I want to jump, like when do I want to lay off the front of my board and dive into that.
and I just kind of rode it out too long, and before I knew it, it just felt like somebody held my foot there, put it in a vise, and broke it backwards. It was brutal. If Conor McGregor was looking at this, he'd say I'm foot. Third and fourth metatarsal. Fourth is totally shattered. They're both displaced. My foot is screwed. So, yeah, I'm gonna need surgery.
I don't think Kelly will stop because he's that competitive. This foot thing is a big concern, but I mean, he'll get beyond it. And I mean, his mind is strong enough, and I mean, his ability is definitely strong enough. And yeah, I think we still got some wonderful things to see from him.
My foot kind of looks like Fat Bastard's foot. Little toes off the end of something. I look like I just got some kind of like allergy to like peanuts or something. And gangrene foot. Yeah. For years, I stayed with my friend Craig and his family. They had a house right here where we stand right now that my other friend Brandon came and bought from them. I think it's important that you feel at home wherever you are. So, you know, my family has kind of become the families I have on tour. Those have become my extended families, and it's great because I feel really at ease and comfortable.
He definitely wants that family environment. You know, that sense of brotherhood and that real sense of belonging, which is really comforting.
Hope you get well soon, Brew. Lots of love from Grace. The tongue out's so good right there. This is my mom's number. Call me. Me and her surfing. Thank you for being at every competition. I've seen it all. I'm your #1 fan. Get well soon, Brew. From Talita. I'm gonna have to wait for the swelling to go down for probably about a week. I'll enjoy my time here in Africa, seeing my friends and stuff, and I really would love to do something with surfers, not street children. They take kids off the street, they provide them with housing, you know, give them shelter, get them some surfing equipment, get them in the water. Behind the scenes here, there's a very, very poor, poverty-stricken community. There's not a lot of job opportunity. You have a lot of kids wandering the streets, don't have much family support. If they do, the family doesn't have any money, so the kids are, you know, it's really sad. I think when life just seems so dire and horrible and you have something that you love, you can build a life around that. And, you know, surfing's been that for me in a lot of ways.
Niggas are hungry out here, you know, like they eat you alive and stuff. Even me, I'm just a small ant in part of big ants and stuff. I'm not ashamed. This is me. I gotta be able to change it rather than running away from it. It's kind of like you still living same thing, you know. That's being self. Rather than I'm trying to understand how to give back, make people understand. Like Tommy taught me a lot doing that. Like things that it done for me. It's big.
It's kind of like a diversion program, not just for street kids, but also for kids at risk of becoming street children. Rather than trying to get them into education right away or into sort of the counseling right away, what we actually try and do is just absolutely consume them in surfing. We realized pretty early on that by, say, 5 o'clock in the evening, they're so exhausted. I mean, surfing all day. So the last thing they really want to do is to go out into the streets. So through default, they start actually becoming less and less interested, and soon you realize they've done a week, you know, a month where they've hardly been in the streets.
Surfing changed my life because there's a lot that it taught me and stuff, you know, and being into it gave me happiness that I never had growing up as a kid.
Street life itself, it becomes a learned way of life. Begging becomes the norm, stealing and other things become the norm. And so what we're trying to do is for them to unlearn that culture in a sense and relearn how to engage with mainstream society again.
Hey, can we let them in for a few? We're gonna see, can these guys come in for... How you doing, buddy? What's going on? Hey, how are you?
Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time. What powers him is pure stoke. And that same pure stoke powers these kids from drugs, from crime, powers them to a different life. And Tom has managed to corral that, create an infrastructure, create a building, kids live together through positive role modeling, through surf, through competition. He's just changed their lives. And he doesn't only change the lives of those kids, because those kids ultimately change the lives of other kids, and those kids ultimately change the lives of other kids. So he's created this positive wave that's just spread out through the community.
I don't know what the future holds right now. I might not surf the rest of the year, but being able to have some real time off could be some sort of godsend, you know, some sort of gift to allow me to get my body back physically together. And, you know, I think a lot of physical traits follow your mental and emotional positions. From my own experience working with a lot of different people, I know I hold a lot of things there that are symbolic of the mental and emotional issues that I have personally. You know, I've been letting a lot of things go unattended to in my life. So I'm just going to be philosophical about the injury and see that it's an opportunity to kind of get those things settled in my life and figured out. You know, just try to take the positive from it. Try to get back to connecting myself to what allows me to freely do what I do well.